Press play and let the story begin. Welcome to Velvety Vibe. Hatami, can I see my brother? I shot to my feet. Tabassom too. He smirked at our frantic reaction, but his eyes remained two bottomless pits, empty and terrifying. Yes, of course. Welcome. Please, this way. I blurted out, words tripping over each other. For a moment, his eyes moved between our faces. Then he left. Both of us stared at the door to Diako's office. I heard Tabassom whisper, Shadab? Was that the night bat everyone talks about? Yeah, I think so. He looked more like a night canary. I burst out laughing. Shadab? What now? Why was he like that? I don't know. Weren't you scared? A little. Shadab? Yes? Is he the same one they say raped a girl? I nodded. Yeah, that's him. So, what kind of girl was she, that he raped her? I looked at her. We were both still standing. What do you mean, what kind of girl? I mean, what did she look like that made him do it? How should I know? She sighed wistfully. Lucky her. Lucky who? The girl, of course. Why? She looked straight at me. Even to get raped, you need some kind of luck. I stared at her in shock. Huh? She dropped into a chair with a heavy sigh. You think there's any chance he'd rape me too? Her sad, longing face made me lose control of my laughter. Daniar. Diako's angry, flushed face said enough. He'd clearly been in a heated argument with the three men and the woman in his office. When he saw me, he stood and said to them, I think this discussion is over. I can't keep going like this. The three men rose together, and the oldest of them said in a conciliatory tone, Engineer, why get upset so fast? We'll talk it out and reach an understanding. Diayko raised his hand. That meant enough. The man persisting. Mr. Hatami, I almost told him not to bother. My brother never went back on his word. When the woman's voice cut in, can we at least hope you'll reconsider? I almost laughed. Diako sat back down at his desk, utterly indifferent. No, goodbye. All four shook their heads regretfully and left the office. Once the door shut, Diako's frown melted. What brings you here? I crossed to the window, opened it, and lit a cigarette. Nothing. Just dropped by. He stacked the papers on his desk. Good. Let me close this file, and then we'll go grab a big dinner. I glanced at the faint scar on his forehead. Those two new girls, are they your secretaries? Distracted, he asked, Which two? The ones who were just here. He lifted a paper and examined it closely. Oh, you mean Shadab? Yeah, she just started. Black hair, dark eyes. The other one must have been her friend, Tabassom. My eyebrows shot up. Shadab? What kind of name was that? And I couldn't recall Diako ever being so casual as to call a girl by her first name. So you fired the last one? He carefully slipped the paper into his briefcase. Sultani? No, she's still around. I frowned. I couldn't stand that woman for 2 hours, not even in bed, let alone as his secretary. This new one looks way too simple and inexperienced, not like the other, who could do everything. He locked his case and said, Yeah, but she's a good girl. Young, but smart. I want her to eventually replace Sultani. That woman really gets on my nerves. Finally, he'd noticed the woman's flaws. She's still a student, he went on. Can't be here full-time, but once I'm sure she's got things under control, I'll give her Sultani's benefits and send that idiot packing. She treats this office like it's a cabaret. I dragged deep on my cigarette. This one seems too timid and clumsy. You think she can really handle this place? He shoved his hands in his pockets. Don't put her down. She's actually sharp. Just green. I respect her a lot. She's like us. I snorted smoke toward the ceiling. Why do you think I'd like someone like us? He gave me a reproachful look, but didn't answer. Instead, he shut down his computer and said, She's in your field, studying civil engineering. Maybe you can help her sometimes. She's barely hanging on at university with all the problems she's got. Honestly, with this job too, I doubt she has any energy left for studying. That nauseating humanitarian streak of his. I switched off the light and muttered, if I'd been interested in teaching, I would have studied education instead of engineering. I caught the flicker of hurt in his eyes, but he chose silence. We walked out shoulder to shoulder, and immediately ran into the ridiculous sight of Tabassom. Thumbs jammed in her ears, eyes crossed, and tongue sticking out at her friend. She froze when she saw us. For a moment she stayed like that, until Shadab whispered a mortified, "Oh crap," and Tabassom dropped her hands. Her face flushed crimson, and I could swear I saw tears spring to her eyes. Both girls scrambled to their feet and greeted us awkwardly. Diako, with a mocking edge in his voice, said, "Having fun, ladies?" The poor girl twisted her hands together and mumbled, "Well, why didn't you knock?" Shadab's eyes went wide. Diayko struggled to hold back his laughter. "Knock where, exactly, miss?" She dropped her gaze. "I don't know, like clear your throat or something." I saw the sharp jab Shadab sneaked into Tabassom's ribs and had to smother a laugh. Tabassom bit her lip from the pain, but stayed silent. Diako teased, "That kind of throat clearing is for entering a different kind of place, miss." Both girls turned beet red. They were caught, and they knew it. Shadab stammered, "Sorry, Mr. Hatami. Tabassom just came over to practice Photoshop with me. We got tired and started joking around a little. Diako couldn't hold it in anymore. He burst out laughing. With a wink, he said, "Photoshop? Right." I thought both girls might faint. Shadab clung to the edge of the desk. Tabassom gripped her chair. Amused, I spun my car keys around my finger, while Diako decided he'd teased them enough. Still smiling, he handed a file to Shadab. "I'm heading out. If Mr. Fayaz comes by, give this to him. And don't forget to lock the hall when you leave." Shadab lifted her eyes to him and said softly, "Of course." The sparkle in her gaze, that look of quiet adoration. It froze the keys in my hand. The girl was in love with Diako. I started the car. "Looks like your mood's changed. You're getting along with the girls." Still chuckling, he said, "Not really. They're just kids, but funny, sweet kids. Mischievous, but with this refreshing modesty about them. They may boundaries. They have decency and dignity. Gems like that are rare these days." I caught the jab and muttered under my breath, "Don't kid yourself. They're not that young. They're college students. Grown women, fully aware." He lowered the window and replied casually, "I mean, compared to me? From my perspective, they're like 6 or 7. Tiny, playful, impish." So he had no clue. The age gap blinded him completely to the girl's feelings. "Fine, where to now?" He checked his watch. "Let's go to Darband. I'm craving a proper dinner, just the two of us." I glanced at the heavy traffic ahead, groaning. "With this mess? Do you know how long it'll take to get there?" He raised his brows. "So what? Got somewhere else to be?" "Well, yes. I wouldn't have minded spending the night with Mata." I studied his expectant face, drew a deep breath, and said, "I'd rather eat somewhere closer. I want to stay at my place tonight." I saw his jaw tighten. "Why?" I gave him a sidelong glance. "You really don't know?" A vein pulsed at his chin. With anger, he snapped, "I can't stand this lifestyle of yours, Daniar." I turned the wheel into a side street. "It's my life. You don't have to like it. You'll end up sick, ruined. That's none of your concern." He clenched his fist. "How can it not be? Then what am I here for? God, not this fight again." "You're my brother. Nothing more, nothing less." For a moment, I thought he stopped breathing. I'd struck a nerve. He turned his face sharply, his voice raw. "Nothing more, nothing less?" I nodded coolly. He exploded. "I'm just your brother, Daniar? All these years, just your brother? Nothing more, nothing less?" I sighed, pulled over, and looked him straight in the eye. Just because you wanted to play other roles in my life doesn't mean I accepted them. His face flushed, but his voice dropped low, bitter. You're right. I forgot what a heartless bastard you are. I smirked. Fine, I'll admit I'm heartless. My tone rose. But you admit you're no hero either. His glare burned into me, his forehead red with fury. He flung the door open and stepped out. Where are you going? I snapped. He slammed his palm against the frame. Get lost. He stormed off. I jumped out after him. At least let me drive you home. He spun on his heel, came right up, and grabbed my collar. His growl was lethal. Get out of my sight before I break your jaw. For a few seconds, his clenched teeth and furious eyes locked on mine. Then he shoved me away, turned his back, and walked off. Shadab. Tabassom slung her bag over her shoulder. So what if we embarrassed ourselves once in front of Mr. Diako? Big deal. I scowled. Once? You're the queen of screw-ups. Today I wanted the ground to swallow me whole. She rolled her eyes. How's that my fault? Your Prince Charming always pops up like a ghost right when I'm being silly. I pinched her arm hard. And that nonsense you said? Telling the boss to knock or clear his throat before entering the hall? You trashed my reputation. This is my workplace, for God's sake. She smacked my hand. Stop it, savage. He's not my boss. I can say whatever I want. You make it sound like this is the Ministry of Interior. It's just a small-time company, and I'm the one who even got you this job. She rubbed her arm, grumbling. You should thank your lucky stars. Look at this place I found for you. Birds come and go, but I'm stuck passing by that fat creep Esmail the greengrocer 3 times a day. I bit my lip to keep from laughing. I knew exactly who she meant. Mr. Esmail, the sleazy, awkward vendor in their neighborhood who had his eyes all over her. She wagged a finger at me. God willing, the night bat will come back here once you're gone, and he'll corner you alone. Nobody around, no one to hear your screams. You'll close your eyes thinking it's over, and he'll just walk out and leave you dying for it. That did it. I burst out laughing. She shot me a dirty look. Damn you! You dump everything on me and then laugh. I'm out of here. Sit around dreaming about Diako till you rot. She waved goodbye and left. Still smiling, I glanced at the clock. Half an hour left. I pulled out my notes for numerical analysis and started working through problems when the door opened. I thought Tabassom had come back, but no. Diako stood there, his face flushed, eyes stormy. I jumped to my feet and greeted him, but he didn't answer. He just went into his office and slammed the door. Something was wrong. He looked awful. I tried to focus on my book, but my mind kept drifting back to his face. 10 minutes before closing, I decided to say goodbye. I knocked. No answer. I pushed the door open. Darkness. He was slumped at his desk, head down. My heart clenched. Carefully, I stepped closer, hand brushing the light switch. Mr. Hatami? I whispered. He lifted his head. His face was ashen, lips dry, dark circles under his eyes. My gaze froze on his hand. He was pressing his chest, near his heart. Several pill bottles were scattered across the desk. My voice broke. You're not okay, are you? He leaned back weakly, pain in his voice. Could you bring me a glass of water? I ran to the kitchen and hurried back with one. He was still clutching that spot. I handed him the glass, trembling. What's wrong? Is it your heart? He popped a pill, swallowed, and murmured, No, stomach, ulcer. He closed his eyes, tight, in pain. I was paralyzed with fear. Should I call someone? You need a doctor. He shook his head. No, I don't want anyone to know. You should go. It's nothing, just nerves. Who had done this to him? Who? My throat ached with unshed tears. I wasn't used to seeing Diako like this. My man was always strong, unshakable. Then let me take you to a doctor. We'll go together. A faint smile touched his lips. I told you, it's nerves. It'll pass. Go before you're late. How could I leave? How? I paced, desperate to help. Shadab? His eyelids fluttered. I rushed to him, pleading, "Let's go to the hospital, please." Sweat beaded on his forehead.